Good morning. My name is Melissa Carl, and I'm your Regional Local Assistive Technology Specialist. And I'm here today to talk to you about the prompt hierarchy. All right, so when we teach our students a new task or a new skill, let's say, for example, brushing our teeth, there's many steps that go into learning this task. The way we, as the teachers, intentionally guide them and provide supports is prompting. The behaviorists, Lynn McClanahan and Patricia Krantz of the Princeton Child Development Institute define prompt as instructions, gestures, demonstrations, touches, or other things that we arrange or do to increase the likelihood that children will make correct responses. So why is prompting important? Well, first of all, our whole goal in teaching our students is independence. We want our student to independently complete the task. We want them to brush their teeth independently. So prompting is a positive, systematic way of teaching the new skill or task. This goes hand in hand with our errorless learning. Our students can't fail. We are there to prompt them and guide them, give them the necessary supports for them to complete the skill and acquire the new skill or task. So once they're getting it, the important thing is we have to start fading, which means start taking away, fading our prompts, which will lead to independently done skills. And how do we know when our prompting was effective? Well, then the child has acquired the new skill. They can do it on their own. So let's look at the prompting hierarchy. This is a great visual that I found on Boardmaker online. And why I like it, it shows up here, least, which is the student is more independent, goes all the way down to the most, which is the student less independent. And it's a great visual representation of the different types of prompting. We have the visual. So in our example of brushing our teeth, we might provide a visual of the different steps that go into brushing our teeth. Or we could show a video. Those are great examples of a visual prompt. The second one is verbal, and this is us using our voice, using verbal directives to prompt the individual. So I might say, open the drawer, get out your toothbrush, twist the toothpaste. The next one is gestural, and that is gesturing. Maybe I'm going to point to the drawer. Maybe I'm going to, when I say it, I might twist, and I might do verbal and gestural. Or maybe when they're getting it, I might nod or give them a thumbs up. These are me using my gestures to prompt them in the right direction. The next one is modeling. And modeling, for example, is I might show them the correct way to brush my teeth, and then they do it. They can see what it looks like, and then they do it. The next one is partial physical. So that means I might lightly guide them, might lightly hold their forearms, and I might guide them into the right direction or guide them to getting their toothbrush out of the drawer. Partial physical. And then the most, which is the student less independent as possible, most is full on. So I am hand over hand walking them through the task or skill. So again, it's least to most. In the article, it talks about prompting techniques, and it gives three. It goes least to most, which is least intrusive prompting, all the way to the most intrusive prompting. Then most to least, starting with that most and finishing with the least. And then the third one is most to least with the 2-second delay, which is starting with the most and then giving them 2 seconds of time before you provide that prompt. types of prompting that were listed, I really like figure 2 in the article because it actually tells you what it looks like. So it says least to most. What does that mean? So it says independent. You're going to let the student brush their teeth on their own independently. And then if that doesn't work, then you're going to start the prompts, and you might do light touch, manual guidance with the upper arm, manual guidance at the forearm, and then you're going to do the most, which is hand over hand. In the article, it gave you a picture of what most to least looks like. You're going to start with that most intrusive, hand over hand. Then you might go to manual guidance of the forearm, manual guidance of that upper arm, light touching, and then letting them do it independently. And then the example of most to least with 2-second delays. I highly recommend going back to the article and checking out figure number 2. It's a nice visual. All right, so as the teachers, how do we know what kind of prompts to use? What do we do? Least to most to least. What do we do? I found this very good visual on Teacher Pay Teacher, and they have posters and all different visuals. And why I like it is it shows the prompt hierarchy, but then there's arrows on both sides. And it says most to least, and it shows you're going to start with that full physical and go up to the least inclusive. And it says use this if they are learning a brand new skill. And then on the opposite side, there's an arrow down, and it says use least to most, and it says you can use this if maybe they've already mastered the skill. Maybe they came back from break and they mastered it before, but they need to come back and refresh themselves. You might use least to most. It really depends. I put right here, it really depends on the child and the situation. You just have to use your best judgment on what kind of prompt is the best for that child. All right, I just want to thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions, my email address is up here on the board. I would love to come out and follow up with you. I can come in and do observations and provide strategies and recommendations. And my references are as follows. Thanks so much for coming.